smash the like button, and subscribe. If Donald Trump swapped bodies with Melania, would it make sense to still call him a man, even though he's biologically a female?
If he swapped bodies, like just consciousness to consciousness.
Yeah, with Melania.
Well, that would include chromosomes and everything. And
yeah. So he would be biologically female.
Yeah.
Would it make sense to call him a man?
Would it make sense?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't make sense. What
It,
do you mean?
it wouldn't make sense?
If just his conscious switched to a female's body,
Yeah.
it would be a woman. Yes.
Wait, so then why are you saying he?
Wow. You got me. You got like this dude. This is why I fucking. I should have got some gifts for that because that was weak.
No,
That's crazy.
Do you want to acknowledge that you just got kind of owned?
Not really, because if Donald Trump switched to if he switched to a woman, I would view him as a woman now. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
Well, then why'd you say him?
I'm saying him past tense.
Oh, okay. So then it wouldn't make sense to call him a man.
It wouldn't. No.
Wow, I think that's ridiculous. I have a question. Are you Christian?
I am not, but I believe in God, unfortunately, because the way I was raised.
Okay.
But
Unfortunately?
Does it make sense for Trump to believe that God the Father is a father?
father, like, of his children.
Like God the Father is a father, yet has no biology. So the idea of fatherhood is distinct from what is biologically true.
He says he created Adam in his image, though, as a man.
Also, Eve. Well, I mean, not Eve. I mean,
Isn't everyone
Eve
created in his image?
in the first one? But
Well, no.
Wait, do you think every human being is created in God's image?
Have you not read it, bro?
Do you think every human being is created in God's image?
No.
What human beings are not created in God's
Bro, do you
God's
not know
image?
how the story goes?
Yeah,
Do you not know how the story
tell me what human beings are not created in God's image.
Do you not know how the story goes?
No,
Yeah,
I mean I do. Tell me though. What human beings are not created in God's image?
Basically, Adam was created, and God had no plans for women. This is literally the story.
unless you read,
Wow, dude. He thinks that women were not created in God's image. Is that what you just said? You think all
can I
women
finish?
were not created in God's image?
Can I finish? Do you not know the story, bro? I feel like you know the story. You're just making me tell it.
But wait, Christians across the board practically always say that everyone's created in God's image. That's practically like the typical Christian position. If you're Christian and you believe that every person is created in God's image, type 3 in the comment section right now. Like that's I don't think that's a widely disputed view as a Christian.
Well, in the sense that he created women, I mean, yes, I guess, but he didn't have intentions to create women, is what I'm saying from the
He
start.
didn't have intentions. He's all knowing, all powerful, and all good under your view, meaning that
Bro,
he knows
you
that
know
he's
the
going.
story,
Wait,
bro.
wait. He knows that he's.
tell it or what?
Wait, to clarify, he knows that he's going to create. That is impossible for you to say that he didn't know that, because that would mean that he's not all knowing.
Okay, so did he know that Eve was gonna pick the apple or the fruit?
I mean, by
he's all knowing, right?
biology, yes.
Yeah. Well, also,
Do you want me to tell the story or no?
We
Go ahead.
know the story. What?
Okay, so Adam was alive, conscious, with all the animals, and he said, God, everyone else has a partner. I need one. He took one of Adam's ribs and created Eve.
Why would
We
he?
all know
Wait,
that.
why the hell
That's
did
not
he?
the story,
Wait,
by the
wait. To
way.
clarify, if he spawned in Adam like it's Minecraft, why did he have to rip out his rib in order to create Eve? Couldn't he have just spawned in Eve like it's Minecraft, just like he spawned in
Also-
Adam?
That's not the story. I just want to point out that's not the story.
You can fix the story. Okay, what happened?
Wait, no. I want him to answer that real quick.
No, yes, I know.
Yeah, if it is the case that he can spawn in Adam like it's Minecraft, why can't he spawn in Eve like it's Minecraft rather than literally ripping a rib out of Adam's body?
Well, Minecraft's kind of crazy compared to, but it's kind of hard. Like, it's kind of hard to imagine, obviously, because it's not like any society we'd be in today. You're the one man on Earth with anything he could ever want, and you're like, you wouldn't sacrifice a rib for one more thing you wanted in life.
Why do you have to?
What?
You don't have to though. If you could just go into creative.
Why not, though?
If you could just go into
Would you?
Wait, hold up. If you
Would
could,
you?
if you could just go
Would
into,
you sacrifice your ribs
if
to
you-
see your girlfriend?
if you could just go into creative, and you could cause that to be the case without having to go through it, then I would just do it in creative mode. Why wouldn't I?
Adam wasn't in creative mode, though.
Yes, he was. What?
Wait, what?
Yes.
What did Adam create?
Yes, he
What
was.
did
He was
Adam
created from mud, from dirt. God breathed life
No,
into
Adam wasn't.
God
in creative
was in creative mode. Okay.
Yes, God was.
Have you read
So
Genesis 2
wait
and
to
3?
clarify, if God's in creative mode, why did he not spawn it in, like, rather than specifically go out and try to do it? If you could just spawn it in, do that. Why'd you rip a rib out of someone? That's painful, isn't it, for Adam?
Well, like I told you, I'm
Wait,
not
wait.
actually
Do you think it'd be painful for me to rip a rib out of your body?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it's actually being realistic or not. Or if it's
Okay.
some
Oh,
fake-
okay. Okay. Well, you should have said that from the very beginning.
Now it's allegory.
Well,
Jesus
we're
Christ,
kinda-
he was giving this like a state of facts, like this happened, bro.
Well, it could
Yeah,
be
I
true.
know.
I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. But you got to
That is
think,
not
though,
what you said from the beginning.
What I want to tell you is you got to think.
Wait,
the
and
only-
also to clarify, right? God the Father has no biology, right?
That's what pretty sure that's what I read. Yep.
Yeah. So then, why does it make sense to call him a him? You were using him in reference to God the Father. So please explain to me why you're
Well-
doing that. Because there's no biology. There's no male biology.
Also, God
Yeah,
the
so-
Son.
so I don't think it's
becoming
fully
Jesus.
explained, but I think Adam wasn't actually like a male when he was born. I think he was just like the first being. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. So
When he
Adam.
was-
Wait. Adam isn't a man.
He wasn't at first until he wanted a partner.
Wait. So
is
so
what I'm saying.
so. Okay,
Non-binary
wait.
thing.
So to clarify,
Bro, this-
Adam was non-binary at birth, and then changed to be a man.
Yes, but you also got to think he's in the Garden of Eden.
Hold on,
Like,
hold on,
there's
hold
no- there's
up.
no suffering.
Wait,
or
are
pain
you
or
saying that Adam changed his gender?
No, he had no gender. He wasn't.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
this is my
Yeah.
theory,
He
though.
went
This is
from
my
he
theory.
went from no gender.
This is just my theory.
Wait, he went from no gender to having gender. So you're saying he changed his gender, right?
Well, it was more like he became a gender, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
He
So
never was one
he went
before.
from having no gender to having gender, so he changed his gender identity.
Yes, but all of us are born. with
Oh,
a
okay.
gender.
So wait to clarify.
But we're all born with a gender now.
Wait to clarify. So you agree that Adam changed his gender?
No. He was never a gender and became one. Is my belief.
Wait, do you,
is
bel-
my
do you
guess.
wait? So Adam was non-binary.
Meaning he had no gender, no sex at all, no ovaries or testicles.
No, just meaning he has no gender.
No, because I don't think he had any like X chromosomes, and because you gotta think about it. What does it say? He was living in paradise with no suffering and no death. Like it's like something we can't comprehend, in my opinion. I didn't really want to get into this because this is like all
You
stuff.
can
I'm trying-
comprehend it enough to write it down.
They didn't really write it down though. This was stories passed on from 300-400
Oh
years
yeah,
ago.
you're right. Those
Wait,
all those books on my shelf are not apparently.
wait. So you're saying when Adam was created, he didn't have XY chromosomes?
Exactly. Yeah, because
So-
he was
so-
basically in
so,
heaven.
so wait
my
to
opinion.
clarify. What's your definition of a man?
If you're born with testicles, basically,
Okay,
you
so
don't have
so Adam wasn't born with testicles, therefore he's not a man.
but he wasn't a woman either or any gender. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, but you
gender
just said you just said you're not
My-
a man if you're not born with testicles. Adam was not born with testicles, so it is the case that he's not a man, right?
So what is he then? He's not a woman.
Then he'd be non-binary.
No, he would have no gender at all. Because gender. Why would gender matter if you're the only person on Earth?
Yeah,
living
that's
in
yeah,
eternal paradise?
yeah. He'd have no gender, right?
He would have no chromosomes. He would have no. This is just my theory, though. This is only from what I'm interpreting.
Why is
it.
inventing a whole new theory?
What do you
for like
mean?
Adam and Eve. I mean, like it's a whole new thing.
They never say what he was before he wanted Eve. He said everyone else has a partner. I want a partner. So my guess.
I mean, actually, it
is
kind of
that-
does. His name.
So
actually
to clarify, God doesn't enshrine that He wants like marriage to be between a man and a woman under your view, right? Because it's
Well,
the
no,
case that
after-
Adam's not a man.
This is after that. I'm saying I think he gave Adam like a gender and then created Eve. Is my
Wait,
guess.
to clarify, you said that a man under your definition is someone that's born with testicles. Adam was not born with testicles, therefore he's not a man under your view. So what is your new definition of a man to compensate for the fact that you can't explain that Adam under your view is a man?
So this is why I didn't want to get into this because this is bro. He's in the garden.
Wait,
you know what the garden
if you
of
didn't
Eden
want to
was?
get into this, why the did you bring it up?
Can you define the Garden of Eden?
What the does that? How does that respond to anything I just said?
That's where he was living. It was in a different plane than Earth, bro. That's the whole point.
Can you define Earth?
The planet that we live on that is an ecosystem that can hold human life.
Can you define what you mean by by belief?
Belief? What do you mean? When did I say that?
You didn't get the joke, bro. It's a meme. It's a meme.
I got it.
We got lore, bro.
Yeah, okay, we got lore.
Is that a good definition of Earth, though?
I don't care. I didn't. That wasn't the point of my question.
Yeah.
Red rock from the sun, right?
Well, I'm like I told you, because the reason we talking about this is because you asked if I'm a Christian, and like I'm saying, like the way I was raised, like I can't not believe in God is what I'm saying.
What?
So,
I
like,
grew up in a Christian household. That doesn't force you to believe in God for the rest of your life. Also,
But you don't have any
whether or
evidence
not
there
you
is.
believe in God doesn't mean that you have to hold some absurd, insane position. There are a lot of progressive Christians in the chat that don't hold some absurd position that you hold.
Well, no, even if that's the thing. You asked me about God, but that's not why I don't believe in like trans women playing in.
Okay, but like I'm just
women's
saying
sports.
that if you have those commitments that God the Father is a father, right, and you use he him pronouns to reference him, well then clearly you're going to understand gender identity from a social lens rather than specifically a solely biological lens. Like I don't understand your prescription there. And then secondly, if you're referencing sports, right, if you're saying, oh, I just don't want people to play in sports because it's unfair, well then I'll ask you a certain question. A certain trans woman, right, specifically that is worse than the average cis woman at a particular sport, should they be allowed to play in said sport?
No, because they have a biological advantage.
Okay, wait, but like it's not unfair.
But they have a biological advantage.
But it's not unfair. Doesn't
We
wait,
shouldn't
but
go
I
by
just want to
statistics,
clarify.
we should go by
Doesn't
biology.
every single person within the context of sports have a biological advantage? Technically, almost every single person in professional sports.
Bro, that's like saying I'm 22, but I'm not that good at basketball. Can I play for the middle school team? Because I'm not that good. I won't play that good. That's literally your analogy.
Yeah, they should be allowed to play, right? They wouldn't make it unfair. They wouldn't be dominating because it is the case that they're worse than they're worse than the average. Right? You're saying that you wouldn't let anyone on the team if they're worse than the average person on your team?
If they're not of the category where
Wait, to
of the
clarify, if
sport?
anyone is worse than the average person on your team, you wouldn't allow them on the team? That makes no sense.
Yes,
So I'm giving
that's
you an
literally-
example.
that's
I'm
literally
giving you an
how sports
example.
work.
I'm giving you an
That's literally how
example where
sports work
I'm giving you an
so
example where a certain trans woman is worse than the average cis woman, specifically within a particular sport, and saying should they be allowed to play in that context? Because they clearly wouldn't make it unfair by playing, but they still should be allowed to play given their skill set.
Absolutely not. That makes no sense. That's
Why?
literally
Wait, why
not.
not? Why not? What's the reason? It's because you're just saying, oh, the biology is a certain way, but then I can give you examples where the
you're
biology
saying-
is a certain way, and yet it still is the case that you say that they should be allowed to play. So it's not about biology, clearly, always, right? It's gonna be clearly gonna be relevant towards like if you're referencing fairness, right? Then you're gonna say that trans people should be allowed to play in certain instances at least.
I want to repeat what you just said. So you're saying if they're not as good as the average woman, they should be allowed to play?
If a trans woman is not as good than the average cis woman, it demonstrates that your logic is not coherent because it is the case that you don't base it on fairness in this scenario because you still say that they shouldn't be allowed to play even though they clearly wouldn't make it more unfair by playing. That's what you're not understanding. That's the critique that I'm providing to your position. I'm showing the hypocritical nature of your argument.
Okay, so what does it take for a man to go trans and play in women's sports? How far does he have to go?
So
go trans?
that's not how this
Does
functions.
he have to have
That's not how this
gender
functions.
reassignment?
That's not how this functions.
Yes, that's literally how it functions.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You might have a prescription or you might have understood them to be a quote unquote man, but that's not who they were. They were always a woman, right? From the time that they became an adult, right? And they were always a girl. That is the case in reference of gender, right? But you can say that they are biologically male, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they're a woman.
See, bro.
Like for example, like I gave you an example. If I swap bodies with my girlfriend, it would still make sense to call me a man, even though I was in my girlfriend's body. You wouldn't say it's incoherent, and the fact that you would say it's incoherent, I think, is
absolutely would.
incredibly ridiculous. No, it wouldn't be. It would not be. Would it be ridiculous to call me Parker?
No. Okay, I would call you.
No.
Can I
Why
explain
not?
Why that would be
Why not?
ridiculous?
Why not? Why would that not be ridiculous? Please explain that to me right now.
If you were my friend Parker and you turned into your girlfriend, I would say, Parker, you're my boy, but you are. a
Whoa!
girl.
Oh! He just conceded. Did you just hear it? Look at
My
that.
boy. But you didn't let
Look
me
at
finish.
that.
didn't
You
let me finish.
conceded. Everyone saw it. Everyone point and laugh at this guy. He just
I saw it
conceded,
with my eyes.
and he can't admit it. Point and laugh. He can't admit the fact he just literally conceded.
I'd say you're my boy, but you are a girl now. You are in the
What?
world. You are a girl now. Like I would.
Okay, so why are you calling me Parker?
Because you're saying your consciousness, right? If your consciousness was like, and I knew it was you, I would try to. Because bro, you're my friend. Like I wouldn't just say I can't.
One,
see you the
we're
same
not
way.
friends. Secondly, if you reference this,
You know what I'm trying to say.
Secondly, if we reference this, like that, my gender is clearly not in a biological sense. It's clearly in a social sense, and it would make sense to call me a man in that scenario because it's relating to my social commitments, relating to my gender identity, right? My commitments towards the social and cultural norms typically associated with the male sex as a prescription of identity. That's
how would that? What? So, I don't even want to ask this, but now since we're on this topic, if you switched bodies with your girlfriend, like you said, or whatever, you still wouldn't have intercourse the way you usually do.
Why the fuck ask me this question?
What?
You know what I'm saying? You're saying you would have the same.
Dude, this guy's what a fucking weirdo, bro. What? That has no relevance. We're talking about politics, bro. What type of question was that? That's nuts. Actually, that deserves a fucking disconnect. I'm not gonna lie. What? By the way, that has no relevance to any argument.
I don't know when.
Mond, thank you for the member subscription. Thank you so much. That was diabolical work. That was diabolical, preposterous.
I'm heading out. Thank you for having me up. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Bye, chat. Bye, YouTube.
Good seeing you, bro. Like, oh my
Bye,
gosh,
take
dude.
care.
What just happened, chat? What just happened? What the fuck, dude?